Carmine Appice here, and you're watching CMS TV.
Chris Aiken Presents, and I, of course, am Chris Aiken. And today on the show, I always love talking to the legends, and this guy is the legend of the legends, as far as I'm concerned. He is a monster drummer. He is back with his band Cactus. He did the Temple of Blues a little while ago, and it was so good we had to do more of it. So we have Temple of Blues 2, April the 3rd, and here to talk all about it is the great drummer himself, Carmine Appice. Carmine, how are you, sir?
Hello. Well, thank you for that intro. That's pretty nice. Thank you.
Sure. Well, dude, you make it easy. You taught John Bonham. There's no two ways about it. There's use of legend that a lot of people use, and then there's guys that have been there that influence the entire world of rock and roll. And you are one of those guys.
Well, I was very pleased to be in the Zepplin movie, which I went to see it.
Okay.
People would tell me, "You're in the movie. You're in the movie." I said, I went to see it, and I wasn't expecting to see me on the Ed Sullivan show in the movie. I went, "Whoa, my God, this is awesome!" But yeah, we were there. We were there at the beginning.
That's right on. Yeah. You've seen it. You've seen it all, man. Well, let's dig into this to the new project, Carmine. Cactus's Temple of Blues 2. Let me just back up and go in between 1 and 2. What made you decide that there was, I don't know, enough material or different people you wanted to work with or what have you to do a second installment?
After the first one, it broke into blues charts on Billboard at number 3 and hung around there, and on the Amazon blues charts at number 2 or 1 or whatever it was, and hung out there. So the label owner, Brian Pereira, who was my good friend, it was his idea in the first place. So when you have the owner of the company's his baby is his idea was this, I guess you get to do another one. So he said, what do you think? Should we do another one? I go, yeah, let's do another one. He said, but this time, don't do so many tracks because I want to put on one LP.
Okay.
And then have a bonus track for the CD. I said, okay. So we did, looking at the last album, we did all the Cactus songs, all the good Cactus songs. And, it was a lot of good songs. And we did 14, 15 songs. So I looked at this one. I said, you know what? There's only really 3 songs that I would put on another album. And that was Token Chokin', Feel So Good, which I had a drum solo usually in it. I didn't on this one. And Bad Stuff. And the rest of them were like, I said, well, what should we do? So being that I loved the album that Evil came off of,
right.
It was called Howlin' Electric Album. And it was given to me by Jeff Beck, and it was given to him by Jimmy Page. I'm pretty sure that Eric Clapton listened to it too, because Spoonful was on that.
Right.
And maybe not, I don't know. But I know Jimmy Page gave it to Jeff. And, this album had similar drum sounds to Led Zeppelin 1. And there was stuff on there that I know Jeff Beck took from there. And we took Evil. So I said, let me listen to it again. I remember when I used to hear it, I used to listen to it a lot in the 70s, and it has some great, great drum grooves. Even Evil, it's a different drum groove than normal, And I took that drum groove and I made it my own. I said, let me listen. So I listened to these tracks. I said, you know what? There's 7 good tracks that we could do on here, which is really cool. So, and the way I record now in the last few years since I had my studio, which is in the back of me down, if you can see the drums.
Oh, yeah.
And they stay set up here. They never move. They never go out on tour. It's the same drum set. And my 1971 blonde Ludwig 24x15 Cactus bass drums.
Nice.
Right? I got a 2004 Radio King and D-drum toms and cymbals. And I said, you know what? I'll start it the way I've been starting. I put a click down. I pick a song, and then I sing the riff all the way through the song, right, with my voice. Like I would do Evil. I'll go bam, bam, dum, da, down, da, down, da, down, da, down, dum, bam, bam, with the click. Then I sing Long Way From Home, down, da, down, da, down, down, bam, and I hear the riff. So I have like 2 tracks, one with the riff and one with the lead vocal and the click. and then I played it at. So on this album, I did it. I don't know which track I did first. I can't remember. But then I started playing bass on it. I have an old 621 precision bass. I could play bass enough to play bass, you know.
Sure, to demo anyway,
Yeah,
right?
and I played bass and made the demo, and then we handed it to my guitar player, Artie Dillon, who took the track, put the guitar on it, and then he redid the bass, because he plays bass really well. And then we gave it to my singer, Ed Terry, and he did the vocal. Now I had a demo. So then I'd say, okay, who would be good on this side? I ran into Richard Fordyce, and I know he was a Cactus fan because he's from New York. Most guitar players from New York that are, 50s and 60s years old, they were Cactus fans.
Sure.
Steve Stevens, Richard Fordyce. There's a bunch of them, So I said, hey, dude, I like this song. It's the only one we did different.
Okay.
It's down to the bottom. And he said, yeah, I'll do it. And so he did it the other way. He did the click and did all the guitars and sent it to me. And then I played to him, and then we sent it to Phil Susan to put bass on it. And then I said, man, Doug Pinnick would sing this good. So I asked Doug if he's okay with that. And he said, yeah. And then he sang it, and it came out great. And that's how I did all these tracks,
Sure.
Once we get the demo, and then I said, wow, this would be good for Ted. So I'd send Ted the track without the guitar.
Right.
This would be good for Bob Daisley to play with Ted. It's like a puzzle,
Sure.
And luckily everybody said okay. Nobody said, no, I don't like that song. I don't want to play with Bob or it was I did a couple of things with Rudy Sarzo because he played it too simple. And I said, dude, just play more like you.
Right.
And even with Eric Gales, we had that was interesting because we did the demo and we gave Eric the guitar to do first, and then Artie, my guitar player, played bass on it. So once he did the guitars on it and sang it, and then I did a part two, which I wanted to do up tempo like a Parchment Farm, and I wanted Eric to really smoke. So he sent it back, and he didn't do the up tempo. I said, dude, what's up? He goes, well, I thought that's for the drums. I said, no, man, that's for you to kick some butt on.
Right.
And I said, okay. So then he sent it back. And when it was done, I sent it to Billy Sheehan. And Billy heard what Eric was doing. And sometimes he doubled what Eric was playing on the solos. And I said, whoa, man, this is ridiculous. And I love that track. I'm sorry they released it first because I would have rather done a video with that too.
Sure.
And then putting all the pieces together, I knew D loves Cactus, and D was into doing the next one. So I gave him Little Red Rooster, he did a fantastic job. And, it ended up probably being the last new thing that he's recorded.
Right. That's right.
Because he's not singing no more. And I was bummed out because, I want to do another one. I want him to sing on the next one, He's so good. He's such a good singer.
Sure.
And you'd never know it with Twisted Sister. That he was that great of a singer. When he did Evil, it was funky and soulful.
Yeah. Oh, with Widowmaker, didn't he do it with Widowmaker? Yeah,
he did it with Widowmaker. Exactly. That's why I picked him.
Right.
And then I found out Richie Fordyce did Evil also with a band. He's got a video on YouTube, and the Dead Daisies do it. I saw them do it, and there was that other band, not Kingdom Come, the newer band that sounded like Led Zeppelin.
Oh, God.
I don't know. I can't remember.
I know who you're talking about. It's just not coming to my head.
Yeah. And I know they did Evil live, and so many bands did Evil, it became one of our big songs, actually.
Sure.
Even when we play live, we're going to do Evil. Yay! People cheer, So that's how it basically came together. But then we said, well, who's going to get on guitar? So Brian, again, that owns the company, said, what about Tracy? Tracy
Guns.
And he just had a lot of success with LA Guns. I said, Tracy Guns, I know Tracy. So I called him. I said, what do you want to do? Yeah, I'd love to do it. Jimmy Haslett played bass. I know him. I broke him into business in the 1970s. Sure. And then he went on to play with the Yellow Jackets and Gino Vanelli and all these great bands. He's a monster.
Mm-hmm.
So even at the end, he has some bass solo, and that's pretty damn good. And so we did it all. We got it all done.
Hey, you. Why are you watching this with commercials? Go commercial free and unlock exclusive content. Become a VIP today on Locals, Substack, or Rumble Premium. Stop waiting.
The one with Melanie was pretty wild.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you about that one because that's going to get you some controversy just because the Jimi Hendrix, she did Purple Haze for people that don't know. And that audience, that Jimi Hendrix fan base, they are ridiculously loyal to Jimmy.
And they're gonna be surprised when they hear this. It's a long way from my roller skates.
Yes, it is.
And the way it happened was Brian, the owner, again, whose idea was to do all this stuff. He said, "I just picked up all of Melanie's catalog, with her family because she passed away."
Mm-hmm.
And she said, "But I got an idea." I said, "What?" He goes, "I got a version of her doing Jimi Hendrix, Purple Haze." I said, "Melanie doing Purple Haze?"
Right.
He said, "Yeah, but she's done with acoustic guitar." I said, "It's like a little strange." But I think if we take the vocal off, we could have it be done with Cactus and Melanie.
Right.
What do you think? I said, "Well, that's interesting. Let me hear it." So he sent me the demo that it was just recorded like on a 2-track or something, like on a cassette. I said, "Wow, her vocal, that's Melanie? Really?" I said, "She's screaming. It sounds like Janis Joplin."
Right.
And I said, "Yeah, let's give it a crack." So he sent me the vocal. I gave it to my engineer, co-producer, Pat Regan. And what he did was he took the vocal and stretched it to a point, didn't change the sound, where we can put it to a click.
Okay.
So it's right on with the click. And then I put the drums on it first.
Okay.
Where it starts, and then it does a break and she starts her vocal. And then we continued it. And then I gave it to Artie, my guitar player again, and he put the guitar on it, following my drums. Just I went up tempo, down tempo, a break at the end, which is the vocal, and then ending it. And then Tony Franklin had played with Cactus a bunch of times. We'd done gigs with him. So our bass player was out of town. I asked Tony, "Tony, could you put bass on this?" He said, "Of course." So I sent it to him. So he put the bass on it.
Okay.
Then my engineer, Pat, mixed it. And I said, "Wow, this sounds amazing." So, I mean, I couldn't believe the screams that she had. It just blew me away. And she sang it great. And we did the harmony with her by taking her voice and harmonizing it.
Okay.
Because she was dead. We couldn't do anything about it.
Yeah, sure.
God, hey, rest in peace, man. She came up with this as killer.
Oh, absolutely. It is the most striking song on the record, to say the least. It really jumps out at you.
Yeah, because you're not expecting, when you see Melody and Cactus, you don't expect that.
Mm-hmm.
You don't expect her to sound like that.
Right. No,
Cactus
you really
sounds
don't.
like Cactus. We're kicking ass.
Mm-hmm.
But man, I was blown away when it was finished. I'll tell you the truth.
Sure. I got to ask you, Carmine, looking through the list of performers that are on this thing, I don't know how you figure out who's going to do what. I don't know if it's just a vibe that you get or, what. But I mean, just as an example, you have Alex Skolnick. I would not imagine you playing with Alex Skolnick in a million years.
I was just thinking about that one. But I know Alex.
Okay.
I heard him play. And that track, it's a blues track. And I said, this would be wild with somebody on there like Alex would be great on this. Because I've done Guitar Zeus. I've done so many guitar players over the years, and I never used Alex. I knew how he played. I knew him. He's a great guy. I think he's from Brooklyn as well, or somewhere around there. And I just came up with the idea. So before I put Alex on it, I had Rudy on it.
Okay.
And Rudy played very simple.
Right.
And I said, "You know what? I need you to play more like Rudy." He said, "Okay." He said, "Well, let me wait till you get the guitar on it." Who's the guitarist? I said, Alex. He goes, like he said, oh, okay, that's interesting. So I waited to put Rudy on until after I put Alex on, so he can get the vibe of where the guitar is going, you know. But I love what Alex did. It was tremendous.
Oh yeah, I mean,
Really tremendous.
but then now I'm going to swing the pendulum the other way. A completely different style of player that you have on here, Britt Lightning, newer player, you know, a younger
Yeah,
player,
yeah.
but totally different from
But
pretty much everybody else.
with Tommy Thayer
Yeah.
doing a drum battle, a guitar battle, because that was my drum solo song.
Hmm.
And I said, you know what? I don't want to do a drum solo today. I've done so many drum solos on record. Let me make it unique. So I thought it would be cool to have a bit of a guitar battle.
Sure.
So when we finish the actual song, you know, and then it would usually go to the drum solo. I said to Artie, my guitarist, I said, let's get a riff, you know, that we could put like two guitar players on and, you know, do like 24 bars and we'll figure it out, you know, four here, four here, four here, and then two, 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 then one, 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 then they both play together. And then we'll go into the next part. So he said, okay, so he did that. And I thought about, well, who should I get? I initially tried to get Lita. She was busy.
Okay.
And I said, you know what? I'm going to use Britt again. Because
Sure.
she was on the first album. She did
Mhm.
great. So I asked her, she said, oh, I'd love to. I'd love to. And then I said, well, who could she battle with that I haven't used on this last one? I said, Tommy. You know, he's
Mhm.
not doing nothing. He's working on stupid Avatar baloney. You know, I think they should have done what Gene originally said, just keep it going like the Yankees.
Sure.
You know, and nobody even know. Put the makeup on, you don't know anything unless they sound good. They
Yep.
sound like it. But anyway, so he was working on the Avatar. He goes, yeah, I got time to do it. So he did it, and we did it separately. We did. I think we did Brit first. So I can't remember who we did first, but whoever went first, the other one had to answer, and that started the pattern.
Okay.
And then it goes into a where would drum solo would be again. I just started a groove with my little snare drum. That if you notice, the snare drum's on the left.
Hmm.
We make sure the mixing stereo is cool. And I wanted to make it kind of like Whole Lot of Love. It's
Okay.
a bunch of crazy stuff. I mean, I even got my brother, Mike Portnoy, and Todd Zuckerman, from Styx, just to play. Todd plays knives and forks, you know,
Right.
and my brother and Nico McBrain's on there, and Mike Portnoy. We just took their drums and just EQ'd them so they don't even sound like drums. They sound like things,
Hmm.
you know. But we got a theremin on there, and the guy we're doing a gig on April 1st with a guy that has his parents had a big foundation, so he gave us a lot of money to do this show,
Okay.
Cactus All-Star Show, to a charity on the date that the album's coming out. And so I've been working with him and Pat Regan, my producer, co-producer, he does spoken word. So we've been
Okay.
doing spoken word with backing tracks of like me with Tony Franklin and Eric Bloom, and we're going to put Tommy Thayer on the track. Anyway, so I said, dude, you got to be on this record somehow. So in that Feel So Good track, with all the middle of the crazy, he's going, feel so good. With his really, with a really unique voice he has,
Right.
and there's all this stuff going on. And, it took 6 months to do this record. I mean, we really took some love and care for it.
Sure.
We didn't just throw it together. All the songs were on 7 songs from that album, done similar arrangements, similar drum parts. I love the drum parts, just like I love the parts in Evil.
Right.
I modernized them a little bit with the drum sound. I did my thing with it, but it took us a while, like moaning at midnight. Right? What easy song? And it just goes bum, 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 bum. I played bass on it initially. When I told my bass player to play, I go, the bass sounds good. I said, yeah, but you play it better than me,
Right.
And it goes from that into like a Blue Murder kind of groove, bum, bum, gaga,
Sure.
bum, bum, with the solo. And then it comes back to the verse going, bum, gaga, dum, dum. And then it goes, do that. So it goes all these different phases from going quarter notes to a dotted 8 and 16 boogie by the end.
Right
And
on.
and that's because I did the arrangement with the drums.
Hmm.
And then I played it on bass. And then I played the song and I kind of sang it too. So my singer knew where the vocals were. Ed Terry, he sang it. He did a great job, And then Pat Travers, we put him on it because it's boogie.
Right. Sure. Makes sense.
Pat, slide. Give me a slide, Pat,
Mm-hmm.
Slides in between the vocals. That Pat's awesome.
Sure.
Your daily metal fix is on Rumble. Watch the Classic Metal Show episodes free or go commercial free with a premium subscription. Find your Classic Metal Show now at rumble.com/c/CMS, rumble.com/c/CMS.
Carmine, let me ask you this, man. And I've asked you before about retirement. And you've obviously shot me straight down on that one, so I won't ask it again. But I do want to ask you, what is it about playing and performing that keeps you going? I mean, you've done enough that you don't need to do this. There's got to be something that's driving you every single day to grab your drumsticks.
Like if you're an artist,
mm-hmm.
you'd never stop painting.
Right.
That's me. I love creating.
Okay.
I love creating music and cool drum parts and good drum sounds. Now that I have my own studio.
Mm-hmm.
I did so many things in that studio with different experimentations and I put a room. There's two right here. I don't know if you see this, but this is it has everything in it. It has a gym. You see the mic there? That's a room mic. It's another room mic on the other side.
Sure.
And then you see down here there's a hallway.
Mm-hmm.
There's a mic in the hallway.
Right.
So I can experiment because and the sound doesn't change.
Right.
I can record something today and next week go in and add to it and you won't even hear the difference.
Mm-hmm.
I never had that for all my career. I've only had that for the last 5 years.
Sure.
And for me, it's really inspiring to do. And I got the bass. I had to plug the bass in. I mean, I wrote Christian songs in there. I did I just did a session for Cleopatra. I did Hush.
Okay.
I did Hush. I did a track for Thor.
Oh, nice. Thor was still around.
All these different things I'm doing. And I just love doing all kinds of different things,
Sure.
I mean, my rod show that I do, that I go on the road with, is totally different than all this stuff.
Right.
I get to play all the stuff that I wrote and I produced, and I played with rods for 7 years, along with Katja Reichman, to play with rods 14 years on sax.
Right.
And it's called Rod the Show, and it's .com. And we do all Rod, so all the songs that I do, including You Keep Me Hanging On.
Okay, nice.
Because Rod did that.
Sure.
When I was with him. And this guy, Rob Cardle, is going to sing. He's on the one that sings Feel So Good.
Okay.
And he's going to do the show with us as well. Actually, he's going to sing the song that Dee can't sing because Dee's not going to sing anymore.
Sure.
And he has the same kind of raspy voice. The other day in Minnesota, he went up and did a karaoke of AC/DC. I think it was Black and Black. And he sang it just like the guy. That growly voice. With that, I know he could sing.
Sure.
He could sing what Dee did,
Definitely.
And, it's just, I just love playing. I love creating music. I love singing, singing harmonies, doing background harmonies. I still work with Vanilla Fudge.
Right.
So it's Cactus, Vanilla Fudge, and the Rod thing. I do that all year.
Right. Keeps you very busy. You have no time to retire.
I mean, look, I went out last week, Monday, and I got back Saturday.
Okay.
I'm playing Friday down here with my Rod show around the corner from my house.
Okay.
And then we play the Cactus show, and then after 3 weeks later, I play 5 shows with Vanilla Fudge, and then a show with Rod, and then June. It's just like that. It's not like, I'm going out on the road for 6 weeks.
Right.
Forget about that. I won't do that.
Right.
It's too much trouble.
Right on.
But I just love playing. I love doing these records.
Well, and you're still doing it at a high
together,
level. That's the key, is you're doing it at a high level still. I think if I think you are one of those guys that if you saw yourself falling off, you'd stop. Yes.
Yeah. I mean, if I noticed that my playing is not as good as I was when I was, say with BBA, or say with Blue Murder.
Sure.
It's like 40 years later.
Right.
but I
Mhm.
still kick ass, you know. I notice my singles are not as fast, so I do other things to make up for it. But I'm
Right.
noticing that all these kids that are playing today, they don't even know where some of the stuff comes from. And a lot of it came from me doing clinics and my educational part of my career, which I did thousands of clinics, and I
Right.
taught these one things I used to call falling rocks, and all these young kids are doing them, but super duper fast,
Right.
you know.
Well, that seems to be
And they're
what
doing
the
the twirls and all that, you know. I mean, before me doing all the twirls, I think it was Gene Krupa, without a
Mhm.
doubt. But
Yeah.
Dino Danelli from the
Okay.
Rascals, he did great twirls, and
Sure.
I was inspired by him doing twirls, you know. And
Right.
then I ended up doing my own kind of twirl and doing stuff, throwing the sticks up, playing this, twirling while I'm playing, you know. And that moves on, you know. As Joe
Mhm.
Morello says, no one has it all. We all take from each other. And
Sure.
that's been going down the line for years and years to these kids now. They're twirling, they're doing things and throwing sticks up in the air, and they're doing all these kind of fast bass drum fills that I did.
Hmm.
And I think the fast double bass drums thing started with Lars.
Oh yeah.
Metallica. I
Mhm.
think that's where heavy metal started, actual heavy metal.
With Metallica.
Started with Metallica,
Okay.
with them when their big album, that started it. As Lars
Mhm.
was doing like brrrr with his
Sure.
feet. Nobody did that before.
Right.
You know, I give him a lot of credit, and people put him down. I don't know why. He's a killer drummer,
Yeah.
you know. And
People.
Metallica was it. Buzzsaw, you know, guitar
Sure.
sound with the drums following it instead of the drums following the bass.
Mhm.
That's where it started. Before that,
Sure.
all the Motley Crues and all those bands in the 80s, they weren't heavy metal. Dio, he wasn't heavy metal.
Mm.
Ozzy was. Blizzard of Oz, that wasn't heavy metal.
It was
It
just
was
heavy
hard rock.
rock. Yeah.
It
It's
was
heavy
hard
rock.
rock
Mhm.
until Metallica came. It was a totally different guitar sound.
Sure. Do
You
you
know what I'm
think that
saying?
today's drummer, the modern drummer, puts way too much focus on speed? Like
Yes.
I personally think that they use so much speed that they've lost all the swing, which makes drummers
Yes.
kind of replaceable now because
Yeah.
all you got to do is find somebody who can play fast and you can replace anybody now.
If
It's a
if
different
you
game.
I have a kid up the block that he watches these guys that have masks on, they play, they're great
Hmm.
drummers. And then he showed me another one with facial makeup. But you know, if you close your eyes and you listen to them all, they all sound similar.
Hmm.
Not like in the old days. You know, we had Bonham sound like him, I sound like me, Keith Moon sound like him, Mitch Mitchell sound like him,
Sure.
Dino Danelli sounded like him, you know, and it varied. And it went
Hmm.
on for that for a while. But now, you know, they're good drummers. I mean, they have good stick tricks and
Sure.
they do all kinds of cool stuff. But you're right, there's no like groove. But one of them I just was turned on to was what the hell was the name of that band? Sleep something?
Oh, Sleep Token?
Yeah, Sleep
Yeah.
Token. And believe it or not, that reminds me of Vanilla Fudge.
Hmm.
Why would they? Because they do little sweet, you know, vocal things all of a sudden. Then all of a sudden, bam, 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 then back to the sweet vocal thing. Just
Right.
like, for instance, Some Velvet Morning with Vanilla Fudge, you
Right.
know, and many other songs with Vanilla Fudge. Keep me hanging on,
Hmm.
uh, you know, and but the drummer was good because he varied,
Hmm.
you know, he varied, and I kind of liked what they did. Uh,
Right.
but when I just see the drummers playing alone, they're playing solos, they're all the same. I mean, one of the guys that helped start that stuff too was Terry Bozzio.
Oh yeah. Hmm.
Amazing. I sent a couple of solos to the kid up the street. I go, what about this guy? He goes, wow, they're great. I said, yeah, that's what greatness started.
Hmm.
You know, kids
Yeah.
today, none of these drummers today are going to go down as, man, this is it. Everybody's
Hmm.
going to copy this guy. You
Right.
know, it's all been done.
Yeah. Yeah. So now it's just a race to go who can get the most notes in. That's
Yeah,
real. Like that
and
Estepario guy. That guy's a great drummer.
uh,
I mean, he's
and you
unbelievable,
know,
but
did you notice one thing? He's unbelievable what he does. I got to
yeah,
say, he's unbelievable.
sure.
But you put him with his band. Did you see when he put it with his band?
I have not, no.
What did he do? Boom, bah, boom, boom, bah.
Right.
All that stuff meant nothing
Hmm.
because to the public, they don't hear the groove. It's over.
Yeah. Yeah. They're
They
they're
can't go
moving
like
on.
this, or snap
Mhm.
their fingers, or clap their hands, or tap their foot. it's over.
Right on. Definitely.
Could be
Well,
the
Carmine,
greatest drummer in the world that way. Like Buddy Rich. Buddy Rich
yeah.
was unbelievable. When he played with the band, he was amazing.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yep. No, you're right. Well, Carmine, obviously you have this great release, Cactus, Temple of Blues 2. It's out on April 3rd. Where's the best place to buy it? Because we're not telling anybody to go and stream things. We want them to buy something. Where do we tell them to go?
Wherever records are sold.
Okay.
I you know what? I don't belong to any of those streaming services.
Okay.
I will not buy, a download. People say to me, hey, listen to this on Spotify. I say, I don't do Spotify because they rip us off so bad.
Amen.
Amen. And I just won't support that.
Right on. So go to Amazon and buy it.
They put it all on there. I mean,
Right.
when I went to see Papa Roach and Shinedown,
Okay.
and I never seen Shinedown. I heard about Papa Roach, never seen them. And Shinedown was okay, but man, Papa Roach was killed me. They were freaking great.
They're a great band, yeah.
So I went on iTunes and I bought 10 of their songs.
Mm-hmm.
I bought them.
Sure.
I won't stream it, now I have it forever.
Right.
Mm-hmm. And that's what that's what's missing today,
Well, it is. And it's why nobody is passionate about music anymore, because they don't have any skin in the game. They haven't spent any money to buy it. When you can get everything for $10 a month, where's the value in it?
Headbangers, show your allegiance to the Classic Metal Show. Score the latest killer gear and apparel. Find your next metal shirt now at https://classicmetalshow.creator-spring.com. So classicmetalshow.creator-spring.com, that dash being like a minus. Shop and support the show now.
Yeah. And you notice everybody's touring and look at their ticket prices.
Yeah, because they have to.
I mean, you go see Rod Stewart's $1,000.
Yeah, that's a little nutty, but
you can come see our show for $75.
Yeah, there you go.
Same thing.
So go see that show, definitely.
But that's it. You look at everybody touring and the money that people are spending on tickets at $3,000 or so for Bruce Springsteen.
Yeah.
And I heard that Kiss in the last show was 12, 13 grand for one ticket.
The new Metallica tour, 12 grand for tickets.
That's ridiculous.
I know, it's crazy.
Who the hell buys tickets for $12,000?
Casinos.
And bring your wife, it's $25,000. By the time you're done with everything, it's probably $27,000. If you buy a shirt, a two-shirt, it's ridiculous. I mean,
it is.
Where do people get that money to do that? Credit cards?
That's what they're doing. They're going into debt on credit to buy ticket, which is, and we don't have to get into all this, but obviously, if you're paying the amount of a vacation to go and see 3 hours of concert, that's way out of whack. I don't care who the band is. I don't care if it's a Led Zepplin reunion and somehow Bonham is brought back to life. Even then, $25,000 is a lot for a ticket.
Come on. I mean, that's ridiculous. What do these people do for a living?
Yeah.
Do they make, some people, I mean, average people, what do they make? 70, 80,000 a year? Yeah,
exactly. You're going to give a quarter of that?
I mean, who's buying all these tickets? Rich people?
I'm a believer it's the casino, at least in those place of the sphere, it's the casinos, and they're giving it to the whales to keep them at the blackjack table. Yeah. Guys that are playing 10,000 a hand or something. Yeah, you can go see the Metallica show tonight, but keep playing. That's kind of
exactly. But,
well, anyway, Carmine,
it's amazing.
It is. Well, let's wrap this one up, Carmine. Obviously, Temple of Blues 2, April 3rd is the date. It is listed under Cactus, but I'd imagine if you go to Amazon, you can search Carmine's name and get it as well. And Carmine, it's always great talking to you, man. Thanks once again for joining me on Chris Aiken Presents.
Okay.
They say you should never look back, but I've never been good at following orders. I'm Chris Aiken, and while most of you know me for the radio and the interviews, I've got a past that would make social justice warriors' heads explode. My latest book, and Other Things I Should Not Say, isn't a self-help manual. It's an autopsy of the years 1986 to 1990, 4 years of sex, booze, and absolute chaos while I was serving in the military in Korea and California. I'm talking about stories that stay buried in the back of your memory because society tells you they're wrong and ugly. Well, I don't live in fear of my past. Every filthy, calloused, and ridiculous moment in this book actually happened, and I'm damn proud to share it. If you're easily offended, keep walking, pal. But if you want to see what happens when you pack a lifetime of dangerous living into just 4 years, head over to Amazon.com or just go to the link in the description and grab yourself a copy today. Both middle fingers are up and the truth is right here. Get some CMS, uncensored, and other things I should not say is the book, and it is sure to offend and sicken and make you laugh like you never have before.